Alright, told you so. Make sure you subscribe to the page. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. So today we're going to be watching a breakdown of the Pop Out concert by Kendrick Lamar and how great it was. And yeah, so we're gonna watch this. I'm trying not to interrupt it too much. And then I'm gonna come back and discuss. Alright, man, let's go. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. I see a lot of people, they watch the video, but they ain't subscribe. So please subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it. Thank you. And go subscribe to this guy's channel too, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
We just witnessed the greatest concert of this generation.
Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack niggas that right.
With all the hype that the Pop Out Ken and Friends concert had gathered over the last few weeks, we knew that the concert was going to be special. But what we just saw was one of the greatest images in recent hip-hop history. So let's talk about it.
Y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh?
Coming off the success of Not Like Us, the Kendrick Lamar stock has been at an all-time high. And don't get me wrong, Drake already looked bad before tonight, but somehow things got worse for him. Because even though this concert wasn't technically directed at Drake, quote unquote, it might as well have been. Especially once we get to the Kendrick Lamar sides of things, of course. But it seemed like from attendance to the people performing to the merch, everybody that was in that arena was against Drake. And honestly, it came out looking like a funeral party by the end of the night. But before we get into that, let's talk about how great the performances leading up Kendrick Lamar were. It was a bunch of regional LA artists that really deserved that shine, but there were also some big names like Steve Lacy, Roddy Ricch, and surprisingly, Tyler the Creator was there. And I guess in retrospect, I should have expected this, but in the moment, I was surprised. And when I talk about this show feeling like it was directed at Drake, I mean something like YG being out there tonight, because if you don't remember, Drake did shout out YG on Family Matters, which honestly does make him look that much more stupid right now, because YG performed a Drake song, or a song with Drake on it, and I feel like that's so disrespectful, but that's beyond the point, because the real main event was Kendrick Lamar, who kicked his whole set off by performing Euphoria. And listen, this crowd had a lot of energy all night, but nothing compared to the energy that they had on Euphoria. Cause listen, Euphoria is a 6-minute song, and the crowd went bar for bar with Kendrick. Do you know how crazy it is to hear a sold out crowd talking about, what is it, the braids?
You got shit twisted.
With the rise in popularity of gaming and sports betting, New Jersey's Division of Gaming Enforcement has tools.
What is it, the praise? I heard you.
It was clear that the people in Inglewood loved Kendrick Lamar. And to be fair to Kendrick Lamar delivered. The energy was on point. He was working the crowd and even changing up the song a little bit just to add in an extra disc for Drake.
Give me Tupac, read back, and I might give you a little respect.
And speaking of Tupac, by the way, this whole outfit that Kendrick has on is him paying homage to Tupac. More specifically, the fit that he had on for the 1994 Source Awards, which I must admit is a pretty cool detail. And again, it feels like this concert is directed at Drake, but that's besides the point. Anyways, quick intermission. I am trying to get to 38,000 subscribers, so if you're new here, I'd appreciate a sub. You're not obligated to, obviously, but I would appreciate it. That's all. Because after Euphoria, Kendrick Lamar went into his bag of hits. There's this narrative with Kendrick Lamar where people say Kendrick Lamar don't have hits. You play Kendrick Lamar, nobody's gonna get hyped to it. This concert disproves that whole narrative, because on a consistent basis from song to song, Kendrick Lamar had everybody going bar for bar with him. But like I said, that crowd was a W crowd, real hip hop heads right there. Cause when J-Rock came out for his verse on Money Trees, everybody lost it. And honestly, it was a great performance from J-Rock on all the 3 songs that they performed together. And then Ab-Soul came out, and then you realize, wait, are they playing the beat to 616 in LA? Are they really about to do this right now?
Wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt, the sightseer.
Though it is kind of funny because he's holding Ab-Soul as if like he was a preacher and he's praying the sins away. Honestly, once I heard this one, I thought it was a certainty that Meet the Grams was gonna play, but I guess Kendrick Lamar had other plans. Like, I do understand why you don't play it, but I think this is the crowd that would have like popped off for that one. It didn't matter though, because after 616 in LA came out Schoolboy Q and they performed Collard Greens together, and Kendrick Lamar rapped in Spanish again. And it was all great because they did a Black Hippy reunion and the people were excited, the people were hyped, and they were clearly enjoying it on the stage. So how can I sit here and critique it? After that little reunion, Kendrick Lamar kept going into his bag of hits, the so-called hits that he doesn't have, and people were still hyped for it. And then came the big one. Then he played Like That.
These niggas talking out of their neck, don't put no coffin out of yo. I'm way too paranoid for it.
I could be wrong, but I don't think this is the first time he performs it. But it didn't matter to the people because for the most part, it was hype because it was Kendrick Lamar. I will say, I did think Future was going to be there, Metro Boomin as well. But hey, it can't beat Kenny and all the friends. Just some of them, you know? But the next friend that Kenny brought out, to me, was a crazy one. Because what do you mean he was going to bring out Dr. Dre? To the surprise of many, or at the very least, to the surprise of me. And they start performing Still Dre, and Dre still got it, man. Shout out to Dr. Dre. Kendrick takes over for Snoop, which again reminds me of Taylor Made Freestyle, when Drake did the Snoop AI voice. And again, this concert ain't directed at Drake, but it sure does feel like it. And then they perform California Love, which brings me back to that story where Kendrick Lamar was like 9 years old watching the video get shot for this song, and I think that's dope. After that was done, we all had our fun, and Dr. Dre got serious for a minute because he wanted a minute of silence, and I thought he was about to talk about like maybe one of his fallen soldiers, and then he said this.
I'm gonna just take a moment of silence for this. I see dead people.
And everybody lost it because I don't think anybody was expecting Dr. Dre to be the one to drop that. But honestly, this was the most hyped people were all night. They got loud and you could feel the energy in the building. The crowd was going crazy. They were going bar for bar with Kendrick Lamar once again. They even did the A minor bit, and it goes on for a long time too, by the way. Again, this was a W crowd. And personally, after it all rides out, you think Kendrick Lamar is gonna bring out another song. Maybe he brings out Baby Keem, they do Family Ties, and then they'll come back to Not Like Us. But Kendrick Lamar said, nah, we're running it back to back. And again, people are hyped. You can feel the energy in the arena. Inglewood is on fire. They do the A minor bit. And then Kendrick Lamar lets it ride out again. So you know now he's gonna do a third Not Like Us performance. And that's exactly what he does. And now he has some of the dancers from earlier popping off. And the energy is off the charts because this time Kendrick goes the whole 9 yards. And he finishes up the track. And honestly, if it had ended right there, we would have seen an iconic day in hip hop. One that goes in the history books alongside that concert where Michael Jackson was with Jay-Z, where Nas got put up on the screen. And it would have been one of the greatest nights for hip hop in recent memory. Except Kendrick didn't stop there because he did it again.
Mustard on a beat, help people, any rap nigga here.
This time with DJ Mustard on stage, and I know Mustard was there earlier for like his own set, but this is when it really felt like the main event because Kendrick Lamar was playing Not Like Us for the 4th time in the night.
Now back to the motherfucking festivities. Come on, Tony. One more time.
This time, he's starting to bring everybody to the stage. That's Russell Westbrook, there's DeMar DeRozan, which for some reason are in attendance tonight. And I know that stings Drake because DeMar DeRozan was like the heart and soul for the Toronto Raptors, and they were very close. But again, this isn't directed at Drake, and that's besides the point. But man, does it really feel like a Drake funeral up there. Because everybody's vibing and dancing and singing along, and then you remember they're talking about how Drake's a pedophile. Like, honestly, this might be the greatest diss track ever because everybody's singing along to it. LeBron James was in attendance. The Weeknd was in attendance, and I know that maybe LeBron didn't sing along, but The Weeknd definitely did. And man, at the end of that performance, this wholesome moment happens where Kendrick Lamar rounds up everybody. It's not just about the diss records, it's about about the community that was on stage, the different gang members all coming together in peace. There's members of the community there, there's athletes, there's rappers, yes, but what this moment felt like to me was a very genuine moment in hip-hop, which is why to me this is the greatest moment that hip-hop has had, like outside of the mic, in a very long time. Even if it was just the instrumental, playing Not Like Us 6 times is insanity and kind of a shot at Drake, but again, that's besides the point. Shout out to Jay Dilla, shout out to God, shout out to me, and shout out to y'all. And yeah.
Yeah, man. Go follow that dude. You know what I'm saying? Listen. This was a funeral. And like I said in the last video, this is it. I think that people got to understand. Kendrick Lamar has all the power. He has all the cards in his hand right now versus Drake. No matter which way Drake goes, he really doesn't know which way to go. Because if he goes this way, Kendrick has other stuff ready. If he goes this way, Kendrick has other stuff ready. He really put him in a checkmate position where he can't do anything. The only thing I think that Drake can do is just chill. That's it. Don't do no more music for a little bit. Just take a hiatus, bro. You already solidified. You're a legend. You sold 33 million records, bro. You could just go off into the sunset. But you got to understand, selling millions of records don't mean anything when you have two other guys that stand on the side of you that's just as good or better than you. You know what I'm saying? And Kendrick Lamar has been solidified and put himself in a position where he's better than Drake and J. Cole. He's never been afraid to take up the mantle. He's never been afraid to snatch the moment from them. You know what I'm saying? Drake is too arrogant to do that. He believes he's already there. And J. Cole, he just don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I think Kendrick wants it. He wants it. He wants to be that guy. He wants to snatch that. Pac, Biggie, M, J, Nas. Those dudes snatched it. Rakim. They snatched the moment. You know what I'm saying? And that's Kendrick. Those other two dudes ain't trying to do that. It's too much for them. So, but yeah, man, shout out to concert, man. Pop out. Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick and Friends, Kenny and Friends. I seen the whole thing. It was phenomenal, man. So, hey, man. We out of here. See y'all. Peace. Bye.